Hi, this is the Tolkien Curmudgeon, back with a video about the Rings of Power, Season 2, Episode 3. It's all getting kind of mixed up in my head because, it's not good enough to really hold my attention. So if I do kind of mix things up and start talking about whatever, please bear with me. I'll try to stick to mostly stuff about Episode 3, but anyway, here goes. It must be the worst episode so far this season, and maybe the worst of the whole. Well, I don't know. It's one of the worst of the whole show. Besides the usual fake wise sayings and dialogue rip-offs from Jackson's trilogy, and the total mangling of Tolkien's carefully worked out timeline and lore, well, we also get this time excruciatingly slow delivery of dialogue with huge pauses between the lines as if they were saying something so profound. Sometimes this way of delivering dialogue might be a good thing in some shows if they were saying something profound or moving, but they weren't. It's the same bad writing. Okay, now, one of the things I'd like to say is, let's see, about Bronwyn. Yeah, she died off screen. Oh, well, apparently the actress quit the show. I wonder why. Okay, so anyway, we see her funeral and cremation, and it's very cringeworthy. We're obviously supposed to feel some great emotion about her death, but this show was never able to create any real empathy in the audience with her character. And then, do they show like a big flashback of her life so we'll remember what she did or what? They just kind of show her smiling face and looks very beautiful, and apparently we're supposed to love her and go, oh yeah, she was great. And well, that's fine for Arondir. Arondir in his mind, he's thinking that, yeah, because he's in love with her. But we audience members are not in love with her. So it doesn't really move you. So, and the kind of incongruity of what they want you to feel and what you're feeling, it just really takes you out of it again there. Oh, gosh. And then there's the thing of the cremation itself. I think I'm on fairly safe ground saying that I really don't think Tolkien approved of cremation. So I don't think that he would have written that in there. Later, we see, well, not later, we have this scene there. Yeah, later, we have this scene where Theo and Arondir are together and talking, and Theo's rejecting him. Oh, I mean, does anyone actually like this character, Theo? Okay, Isildur and the spiders. Oh my Valar! Okay, it was reasonably well crafted for a rip-off of Jackson, but all to very little effect. And then they have to throw in their mini Dead Marshes corpse moment. It's creepy enough, but utterly out of place, out of time, out of story. And it's not even some kind of foreshadowing, because really it's just exactly the same thing and in the same style and almost exactly the same props, really. I mean, the corpses, they look so physical. I mean, only on, it's the same almost as in the Jackson movie, but on a much smaller scale. So it's so unimpressive. Okay. The scene with Pharazôn, where he's having dinner with his son and advisor, and Isildur's friend walks up and insults them and threatens his son Kemen. Pharazôn, he's only the most powerful man in the entire realm, is sitting right there just sort of chuckling about it. I'm sorry, but insulting and threatening Pharazôn and or his son publicly would have resulted in an instant imprisonment or sudden death. By the way, that's what would, or should I say, should have happened to the woman who slapped Muriel publicly. Okay, the guards appear to be about to do something like that, but Muriel yells, "Stop!" and then hugs the lady. And the lady accepts the hug. Ludicrous! Okay, I understand we should have compassion for bereaved mothers whose sons died in war. I mean, absolutely! But how can they have that woman slapping her and then her taking it. It's just so unrealistic. You know, I prefer to have a little bit more realism. Not that I don't want them to kill her. I'm just joking when I say maybe they should have. But they shouldn't have put that scene in there at all. It's just ridiculous. Okay, now we get to the climactic, before we even get to the climactic absurdity of this coronation, supposed to be coronation ceremony, both of these eventual contenders for the throne then, therefore, have already shown themselves to be people absolutely incapable of exercising ruling authority. So nobody could want either of them. They allow themselves to be insulted and threatened and struck in public and just laugh it off. Gee, that's really what ancient rulers and the mythic and legendary past did. You know, I mean, maybe today, yes, we want to have compassion on people, of course, but back in the day, I just, can I say, just so unrealistic. I'm definitely not a monarchist myself, but I do prefer a bit more realism in my fantasy, as Tolkien tried to do, and he called it, you know, the creation of secondary belief. This series has none of that. Okay, anyway. It reminds me of this hilarious film. You know, did you ever see Mars Attacks? Jack Nicholson plays the US president. The character says, in the face of invasion, a worldwide invasion by extraterrestrials who are killing lots of people, and he gives a speech and goes, why can't we all just get along? Of course, a few Jackson fans will be willing to admit that this kind of lunacy goes back to Jackson's vision of Middle-earth and his Lord of the Rings films. Yes, you know, the scene where Wormtongue and Aragorn and Theoden are on the steps of Medusel, well, that's one of the worst scenes in the trilogy. And then also where Gandalf strikes Denethor on the head with his staff in full view of the armed guards right there by the white tree. It's ridiculous. Okay, let's get to the final, was going to be a coronation, I thought. Or anyway, there's too many absurdities to count them all. Anyway, Isildur's sister drops the Palantir with a thud on the stone stairs. It's a stupid callback to Grima at Orthanc in the book. Well, and these people, the Númenóreans, seem to abhor, elf magic, elf technology, why do they abhor it? I don't get it. They might fear it and they might envy it, but no way would they abhor it. Besides, there is nothing inherently evil about the Palantiri. How ridiculous that Pharazôn proposed destroying it. Now, in the authentic events written by J.R.R. Tolkien, the Palantiri are possessions of the Lords of Andúrnay. And who is that? Elendil. And then right there, you see, he tries to touch the Palantir, and it like explodes and rejects him, and he flies across the room. I mean, Tolkien wrote that the Palantir especially respond to those who are the rightful owners. It's completely ridiculous. Again, it throws you, it ejects you out of the story. It completely removes you, if you know the lore, from any way of appreciating and liking what they're doing in the show. What are these showrunners thinking? Okay, and then the eagles. The eagles show up. Now, these eagles are supposed to be Maiar in the form of gigantic birds. And it's true, they have a big connection with Númenor. But they're intelligent. If one came down and he was going to try to like endorse Miriel, which of course is what I would think is the Valar's choice, it would be unmistakable. And if Pharazôn is getting in the way, well, they're probably going to peck him out of the way and get rid of him so that they can make sure everybody knows that it's Miriel. But instead, they like fly away, just like regular birds. And then there's a huge problem with the scale. The eagle flies down there, and it looks like this sparrow in front of an elaborate birdhouse. I mean, you can tell it's a model. Well, okay, whether it's a physical model or a digital model, it matters not. It looks like a tiny little thing. This show. And I haven't even mentioned the subplot with the elvish rings of power production line, courtesy of the mithril from the dwarves. I haven't even talked about that. Well, there's just too much idiocy in this to talk about. Okay, thank you very much. Oh, there's the light all over me. The light of the Valar. Are they endorsing my point of view? Oh, maybe not. It's just light coming through the window. See you next time.